He got problems, she got problems. Only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another story time. Hey, H fam, welcome to Balcony Brothers. Okay, so in this story time, I think it was the My Neighbor's Abuse. Because I think that's when I introduced you to Chicago Impala. Yeah. And I was telling you how I was telling you how they used to sit out on the like on the balcony, and then something happened where they could no longer sit out on the balcony anymore. I really think it was in Neighbor's Abuse. But anyway, so this is what happened where they could no longer sit out on the balcony. You can no longer, like be hanging out, because at before this happened, you could um kind of like linger over the balcony, get your little air type situation. Like you couldn't be there long, but you could actually do it. Like they were sitting in chairs, like watching people pass by. But um, after this happened, there was, it was like nobody on the balcony, nobody on the balcony. All right. So at this point in time, one of the managers, it's a different manager there that's there now. Manager was very cool. I ain't had no problem. As I told y'all, like I try to be cool with all the managers. So just in case something go down, something happen, and I need help, they gonna look out for me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I was cool with the manager. And at this point in time, this was the same manager that had the rumor going around that him and Paula was sleeping together. According to Chicago, him and Paula was supposed to be sleeping together and smooting and booting around. I was just just informed that, well, not just informed, but a couple of months, like maybe like a month or two ago, I was just informed, like, oh yeah, they said you and that manager was sleeping together too. Baby, listen, I do not eat where I okay? No. No. Dudes will do things for me without me sleeping with them. And that's the issue that a lot of females seem to have when it comes down to me. Baby, you be giving up your cookie snatch. I do not. And when it's somebody I do not want to sleep with, baby, I'm not sleeping with you. I don't care how much you come on to me. I don't care how much you do. I don't care how much you portray that you got the best. It got a cape on that thing and it's tipped in gold. If I don't want to, I don't want to. And I ain't going to. I don't care how much you offer. You know what I'm saying? So he would do things for me like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you would ask, but it's like, no, I'm not interested. And then anytime he would throw like, Paula, that's your sister, because he would call Paula my sister, and I'd be like, well, that's your girlfriend. That's what they saying around here. You beating that thing out. Baby, quick with it. We'll come back with it. So, to the person who was spreading around, because yeah, you were the main one who's telling me, you don't ever come out of your own. Nobody don't ever see you. All you do is mind your business. Exactly. That's what I'm supposed to do. But to you, no, I've never slept with that man. And if I did, I would be woman enough to say, but I've never slept with that man. I've never had any intentions on sleeping with that man. I never wanted to. I knew that man business though. You know what I'm saying? I knew his business. But he had a respect for me. So anytime things would go down, or if I needed something, as he stated, I don't have any problems out of you. You follow the rules. So if you need something, I got you. Exactly. Anyway, so with this manager being there, like it was kind of, I'm not even gonna front. At this point in time, that complex was filled to capacity. There was never any vacancy. It was always somebody there. It was always people there. Like every room, when I say every room was full, every room was full, every unit was full. Every time you turn around, baby, if somebody left, somebody was coming in. That joint was filled to capacity. Every time you turn around. Like it's not filled to capacity now. Previous, it was filled to capacity. And it was always something going on. It was always, now I'm not gonna front, like before he got there. Do I want to give him a name? Yeah, I'm gonna call him Curtis. Before Curtis got there, every time you turn around, baby, the cops and the ambulance, the fire trucks was pulling up. Every time you turn around, if it wasn't something from somebody unaliving themselves, somebody fighting, somebody being choked out, somebody throwing carrying a machete and chasing somebody, and the things that I'm saying are the things that happen for them to show up. Like every time you turn around, something was going down, or people was going after Curtis because it was a whole little issue about another little girl and her man and Curtis. So the people, you know what I'm saying, was showing up. And I ain't saying little girl like she was underage. I'm just saying girl, young girl. She wasn't underage, just young girl. So, yeah, so it was always something going down. But then when Curtis got there, I'm not gonna front because they gave him a different nickname, as I stated. They had started, he ain't none of them. They had started calling him the warden because he was enforcing the rules like crazy. And with him enforcing the rules, still, like, it was never any vacancy, but he was enforcing the rules. And with him enforcing the rules, the ambulance, the fire truck, the police kind of slowed down, real talk. And even it had got to the point where the police was like, we don't come here as often, because when I tell you, every time you turn around, you hear sirens. You hear sirens. I don't know if I have them in my old vlogs. I'll look. But every time you turn, when I tell you, every time you turn around multiple times a day, they were pulling up. They were pulling up. Real talk. And the side that I live on is supposed to be like the bougie side. The side in the back is called the ghetto. Real talk. And most of the time, it was the ghetto. If they were pulling up, I mean, they would pull up in the front. If they were pulling up in the front, it was because it wasn't like a fight or nothing. Somebody was sick. So anyway, so yeah. So with Curtis there, and them giving him the nickname the warden, like, oh honey, like things kind of changed, things kind of, toned down. And so Chicago, and Paula was saying like, girl, like, like he coming with all these rules. He coming with all these rules. Like, you not mad about it? And I was like, why would I be mad about it? Because I stayed in my unit anyway. Like, nah. The times you would see me at my unit, I'm doing laundry, or I'm walking to my car so I can go to work. When I come home, I'm walking to my unit. Like, I didn't hang out like that. I never did anyway. Like, I lay in my bed and run my feet together and eat my snacks. I mind my business. Mind my business. Because then even before, like, well, like, even now, they be like, oh, she don't even have visitors. Like, y'all watch me that much, and I'm not even gonna front. Like, they used to watch me. Even when Ty moved out, like, and I started walking to like get food and stuff, because I used to, I used to tell Ty to go. Ty would walk really fast, but then it's like, I'm short, I'm curvy, and at this point in time, I don't want to be bothered, because I don't want to be bothered. Like, I'm, unfortunately, even with trauma, like, I'm used to it. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Used to it. And it ain't even gotta be a bragging type situation. It is what it is. And even I listening to other women who are curvy, like, they have the same complaints that I have. Like, they don't like walking through a crowd. They don't like going to gas stations. They don't like, it's like, oh, it's certain things I just don't want to wear. Because even though I feel good about myself, it's like, this is going to pull attention. It's going to be unwanted attention that I don't want. So I'm not even going to wear it. Real talk. I wish I could find that video on Twitter so I could show y'all. Like, some men are disgusting. They make it so bad for some of y'all. Real talk. Anyway. So, yeah. So, it was like, you ain't know my business like that anyway. Like, I don't really care about the rules like that, because it didn't bother me. I followed the rules anyway. No trouble for me, because just in case, always, something go wrong, I need them to be like, oh yeah, I don't have no trouble out of her. It's all good. So anyway, so this one particular night, I want to say the story time is short. It really is. Anyway. This one particular night, um, all of a sudden, like the fire truck and stuff pull up, right? And it had slowed down. It really had slowed down. So anytime like the fire truck and all that stuff pull up, like most of the time, like I'll peek out the window like to see, like, you know what I'm saying, if it's somebody I know or whatever. Like I'll do that, like just to see, like make sure it's like somebody, like, I talk to who I'm cool with, cause like in passing, still in passing, like you would know your neighbors, or you just say good morning. So it's like just to see, just to make sure like it's not somebody I'm cool with or whatever. So when I peeked out, it's like all these people standing outside, like literally it's people standing outside, like a bunch of people standing outside. I was like, dang. So I got my stuff, together, because it's the fire truck, it's the police, like it's everybody. And I was like, why everybody standing outside? Let me go find out like what's going on. I am nosy, but usually, like I said, when they pull up, like I'll peek out of my window, be like, oh, okay, and ain't nobody I know or whatever. And then, lay back down and let it be. But this time, like, everybody was standing outside, and I was like, oh, let me put my shoes on and stuff. Let me go find out, like, what's going on, because why everybody standing outside? So, go outside, like, I go outside, and I'm standing on the balcony, and, like, it's so many, like, when I tell you it's so many cops, it's a couple of ambulances, and it's the fire truck. And so, Chicago walked over to me, and so she was like, girl, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I just walked out here. And so she was like, why everybody standing outside? I don't know. I just walked out here. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just walked out here. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so she was like, oh, okay. Well, let me get Paula. So she knocked on Paula's door, which at this time, Paula was my next door neighbor. And so she knocked on Paula's door, and Paula came out, and Paula was like, girl, I don't want to come out here, because she was in there enjoying her herbs and trees. If you get it, you get it. She was in her room enjoying her herbs and trees, right? So she was like, girl, I don't want to come out here, because the police was out there. And so when you open her door, like, you can smell it a little bit, right? And so she was like, girl, come out here and stand with us, so we can find out, all of us can find out, like, what's going on. So we was literally, like, just standing on the balcony, like, watching, trying to figure out what was going on. And I was like, girl. So Chicago was like, forget all that. So she walked down the stairs and walked, like, kind of out closer, like she pretended like she was going towards, at this point in time, like, I think her husband still had her he still had his truck, I think. Yes. So she pretended like she was walking towards, like, her truck or whatever. And so she went, and she kind of peeping to see. And so while she's peeping to see, she hollered back up the stairs, oh, it's people on the ground. Oh, it's two of them. And it was like, girl, you couldn't wait till you got back upstairs with us to tell us that. And so she was like, oh, man. They laying on the ground. And so she came upstairs, like, she came back upstairs. She didn't even go to her car like she was pretending to do. Like, she just literally did that so she could go see what was going on. So she came back upstairs. And so she was like, girl, it's two of them laying on the ground. It's two of them laying on the ground. They don't even know how they got there. Like, God dang. And I was like, oh. She was like, yeah, they don't even know how they got there. Now, mind you, it was a lady that was downstairs. One of the dudes had fell on her car. So she was the one who had actually called, 911. And so Chicago knew that lady. And so she was talking to her. She was like, yeah, like, I heard the noise, looked at my car, and then saw them on the ground. She was like, and it's like a dent on her car or whatever. And so she was like, oh, man. So she was like, yeah. So they had to fall from the third floor, because there's no way they fell from, like, the second floor, because second floor, it wouldn't have been like it was, because both of them was, like, laying on the ground, like, not moving. She was like, so it wouldn't have been like it was. They had to fall from the third floor. And so it was like, oh, man. So she came back up, to reiterate that news, basically what the lady had said. And so we was like, dang. And so we was sitting there like talking, like we was still like we was watching like to see what was what, but we was sitting there talking. We had completely changed the subject and was talking about something totally different. So Chicago, what we was talking about, even though I don't remember what we was talking about, but Chicago was in between me and Paula. So I was on one side, Chicago was in the middle, and Paula was on the other side. But we was all standing in front of my door. And so at on the balcony, but in front of my door. And so I don't remember what we was talking about, but whatever we was talking about made her laugh, and she laughed loud. Like loud, and it was so like awkward because everybody else like everywhere is completely quiet. So when she did that, the cops who was down there looked up like that. Cause like literally it's like all you just hear is her laughing. So it's like she was laughing at the situation even though she wasn't, because we was completely talking about something else. And so I was like, Chicago. She was like, what? Hold on, y'all. So she was like, what? And I was like, you're loud. Like you just brought the focus and the attention up here. I said, so now they about to start asking questions. Because so she was like, girl, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. She literally, anytime that she talked, anytime it was time for like altercation or she got into it with anybody, she would gladly, proudly represent her hood. She's originally from Chicago. She will gladly, proudly represent her hood. It would be absolutely nothing for her to mention her hood. It ain't nothing for me. And even if I can't fight, I'll go hit up the OGs. I'll have the OGs come through here. Girl, this is the police. We're not talking about no people. This is the police. And so she was like, I dealt with the police before. It's whatever. So literally, as I stated, like I'm the type of person. It's like, yeah, we can have our own little conversation, but you don't unnecessary attention, like or bringing unnecessary attention to yourself, like at this point in time, was really uncalled for. But I get like she was still just being herself. I don't remember what we was talking about. It had nothing to do with the situation, but she just bust out laughing. And then what was the crazy thing about it? She was just literally being herself. She always laughed loud like that. So it wasn't like she was doing it to bring attention to herself. She was literally just being herself. She's literally just a loud chick. So it was like, so literally after the cops, like, cause the two of them, like they were standing, like looking at the people, getting worked on. And literally when she bust out laughing, like they face frown changed and they looked directly up at us. Cause literally she was just that loud. So I was like, now they about to come start asking questions. And that's exactly what they did. Anybody that was standing around, they went and started asking questions. They started at the bottom, worked their way up to the second floor, which is where we was, and they went over there. So once they started working their way up to the second floor, Chicago was like, I don't know nothing. And I was like, why you keep repeating that? Because you didn't. Like, none of us did. We didn't even know what was going on. We just knew if she didn't go down there, we wouldn't even know two people was laying on the ground. And so when they came over there, and he was like, good afternoon, ladies. They put on that police voice, and I can always tell you, like, my mom's a cop, so I was like, y'all be turning that junk on and off, man. Please. Good afternoon, ladies. How are you? It's like the little authoritative voice, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, baby, I keep telling people, like, even like when I drive, it's like, why do y'all slow down when the cops are right there? Baby, if you've been going 5 over, go 5 over. You ain't got to speed, but go 5 over. Move around. They want to get behind you anyway because they want to check to see if your tag is jacked up. And if your tag ain't jacked up, baby, they not paying you no attention. 5 over. Unless it's like a rookie and you trying to make a name for yourself. But anyway, yeah, he came with that little authoritative voice, and he was like, do you ladies know anything about the situation? What happened here? It was like, nah, we came outside, when we saw the ambulance. We don't know anything about it. And Chicago was like, right, because if I didn't come down there, I wouldn't even know 2 people was down there. We just know y'all was down there. And so he was like, okay, well, if you get any information, you find out anything, will you give us the call, So he was passing out his card. So I was like, oh, okay. So when he walked past and went to the other people on the other side of us, Chicago, something like calling you. So me and Paula, bust out laughing. She was literally just being herself, which, I mean, it's like, girl, you couldn't wait till you go in the room to throw your card away. Like, you had to, you had to do it, like, right then. Like, literally, it was like, time he walked past, nobody calling you. I was like, dang. So, anyway, they had been there for a long little time. And so, it was like, finally, like, they were trying to get in contact with the next of kin, because they had took one person already. Like, he went in the ambulance, but there was one that was working on for a long period of time because he was hurt really bad. He had a really bad head injury. And so when they finally got him, like, on the gurney safely to how they wanted him, like, you could tell he was in, like, the neck braids. His head was wrapped up really bad, like, well, a lot. Like, you could tell he wasn't moving. He wasn't doing nothing. The other man, and it was two Caucasian dudes. The other man, like, you could tell, like, he was moving his hand, and he was like, he was saying something. The dude that they had wrapped up in the neck brace wasn't saying nothing. So we didn't know if he was alive or dead, like, to be totally honest. So yeah, so when they took him away, of course everybody was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell, like, it was really bad. And so Paula was saying, that's we just gonna call him Julius. She's like, that's Julius. And so Chicago was like, who is Julius? She was like, Julius. She was like, well, no, his wife. She got, like, the curly hair. She real nice girl. She drive the van. And so Chicago was like, oh, she was like, yeah, she real nice. Because as I told y'all, we may not talk to everybody, but, like, you see people in passing, you know what I'm saying? And, like, you speak. And so you will know, like, again, about parking spaces, who park where, who do what type situation, right? So, because they are watching you. They are watching you. Literally, they are watching you. The things that people say about me, I be like, and I let them think whatever. Because you don't need to know my business. Anyway. So, yeah. So, it was like, Paula was like, Chicago was like, oh, man. And so, like, after that, it took Julius on, like, finally, that everything was starting to, like, calm down and be clear or whatever. They, the wife had pulled up because we was still kind of standing outside, talking. And so when she pulled up, they was, basically telling her, like, no, you need to go to the hospital. And so she, basically she was asking, like, is he okay? And, like, nobody was really telling her nothing. And so I guess they really couldn't say nothing. It was like they was just basically saying, like, he fell from the 3rd floor. You just need to get to the hospital. And so she, like, she left or whatever. So we went in out, everybody kind of dispersed and went in their units. So the next day, this is when I was working, like, early morning and coming home, like, during the day. And I got, this is when I got home. And when I got home, this is when Chicago was like, man, we can't sit on the balcony no more because them dudes done fell. It's not funny, but it's funny the way she was saying it. We can't sit on the balcony no more because them dudes done failed. Now we can't sit on the balcony no more. Why we gotta be punished because the dudes done fell on, because they done fell out the balcony. Like, why we gotta be punished? And I was like, dang. So, I was like, it can't be that bad, huh? She was like, yes, it is. Because, like, at this one time, like I said, her and Paula was still getting along. So, her and Paula would get a chair. She'll get a chair out of her unit or get both chairs out of Paula's unit. And they'll sit, like, right there in front of Paula's door and just watch and just sit and talk and, drink or whatever. And yeah. So, anyway, so when you would go into the office, when it was your time to, pay your rent. So the manager, Curtis at the time, had to tell you, like, you can no longer be on the balcony. So when I went in, he was like, I know you I know you don't even be out there, but I gotta tell you, like I tell everybody, like, you can't no longer be on the balcony. You can't, like, no kids can be running out there. He was like, I think people, even though like a lot of people live here, I think y'all keep forgetting, like, this is an extended stay. This is a hotel. And so he was like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Not y'all, but y'all. Basically, it's like, not you, but I have to tell you because this is my job. I have to tell everybody who come in here. He was like, and I think people be forgetting because they did, as you can, if you watch my vlogs, even if you go back to like my old vlogs, you can hear when I be like, sorry y'all, my neighbors, like, you can hear the kids running and playing. And so they were literally trying to stop that or minimize that. And they actually, even here recently, like this last summer, the kids was doing that because, you've had new people to come in. They was started putting up signs with fees like, hey, your kids do not need to be running. This is the first time, I think it's like a warning, and then the next time it's like a fee. Yeah, I think it was like a $50 fee or something like that. I know it's like your kids can't be running. You can't be close to the building smoking, etc., etc. Like, it's a lot. It was like a lot of things listed that don't concern me because I ain't got no young kids and I don't smoke. And then it was something else. I forgot what it was, but it was something else. I know it was like a list with like these fees on them. And this was after Curtis. But even with Curtis, he was saying, he was like, I have to give you the rundown just like I give everybody else the rundown. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, did you see what happened? Because usually I see like some things that go on. Like, usually I'm the one that's in the office because I'm the one that sees stuff. And they usually asking, they ask me questions like about the incident because they usually have to fill out incident reports. And so I was like, nah, this one I didn't see. I was like, this one wasn't in front of me. So I don't know what's going on. And I was like, y'all didn't check the cameras? Like, the cameras didn't tell y'all anything? He was like, not really. He was like, because where they were and how they were positioned, like, you see the camera caught, it was like they were standing there drinking and it was fine. And then all of a sudden they started tussling and then you see them go over. And I was like, So basically he was like, so the only thing that we can come up with is, they had too much to drink, you were fine, and then y'all started arguing, and then both of y'all went over. And I was like, that's interesting to me because the one who was like vocal with his pain, he was shorter than the man who was messed up really bad. He was shorter and smaller. So how you got that other man over and he just didn't get you over? But then again, they both were drinking, so you had to be inebriated, really bad, where y'all, what I'm saying, the alcohol had to really like take over. But yeah, so anyway, that was it. The reason why they could no longer sit on the stoop was because the balcony brothers, hence the name of the story, it was people who went over the balcony off the third floor. And the smaller one, he ended up healing from his injuries, but I don't think the taller one, or Julius is what I named him, I don't think Julius had a hard fight. Like, he was hurt really, really bad. I don't think he succumbed to his injuries, if I'm not mistaken, because I didn't hear anything else about it except like he was, hurt really, really bad, and he was gonna be in there for a while. Because his wife ended up leaving. She ended up leaving. Like, she didn't even stay after that. They ended up like leaving. So yeah. And that is the story time of the Balcony Brothers. That's what happened why they could no longer sit on the balcony. And I was like, I haven't done a story time for this playlist in a minute, which is the hotel experience. So I wanted to go ahead and put this one in here. So I'm trying to give y'all story times every 2 days. So it's like if I post a story time, 2 days go by and then I post again. Because I want to go ahead and get these story times out. Because as I told y'all, like, I'm acting like I can't die tomorrow. And then all these story times is just sitting on the list. Like, I got time. Yeah. So anyway, I love you the mostest because you're definitely the dopest in real life. I'll see you in the next one. Be careful. Drink responsibly. Bye. Sister, you've been on my mind, oh, sister. get into it.